The AI revolution is getting insane, and we are not ready for it. Listen to this clip.
Getting lost in an underground. This is the future rave sound. I'm getting lost in an underground.
All right, that's David Guetta, and he explains exactly how he created a verse by Eminem and is basically on the cutting edge of the changing music scene that we are all facing.
Eminem, bro. There's something that I made as a joke, and it works so good, I could not believe it. I discovered those websites that are about AI. Basically, you can write lyrics in the style of any artist you like. So I typed, write a verse in the style of Eminem about future rave. And I went to another AI website that can recreate the voice. I put the text in that and I played the record and people went nuts.
Okay, so this raises so many questions for creative people, and the legal system is just simply not ready for what is going on right now. And I want to explain to you a couple issues that are coming down the pipeline. So here's the first question. Did David Guetta violate Eminem's copyright or likeness when he went and played this clip in front of hundreds of thousands of people, not only in that in that Instagram post, but also literally on stage with all these paying customers. Okay, this is probably going to underlie copyright changes and intellectual property changes that are going to define the next 100 years of creative expression in the world. Already, people are getting, actors are having to sell their voice rights before they go on to set. They're in the most recent the most recent Indiana Jones movie, Harrison Ford actually appears much younger than he is because his face has been youngified and his voice has been made younger, and for, I believe, about a third of the movie. This means that creative people, actors, musicians, authors like me, are in a real pickle because we can be faked through the power of AI and redistributed and commercialized, maybe without payments, which may not even be the biggest issue, maybe without authenticity at all. We can say that on some level, this just doesn't feel right. From a copyright perspective, those lyrics were not Eminem's, okay? ChatGPT does not create does not plagiarize. It recreates in the style of. Same with the voice. That is not Eminem's voice. It is recreated in the style of, because the algorithm and the program has scanned lots and lots of someone's material and then said, okay, this is an approximation of what that is. Is that wrong or is that right? Well, currently there is a lawsuit being filed by the Authors Guild of America, which is addressing this exact issue in the area of writing. So what you can do right now is you can go to ChatGPT and say, make me do me an op-ed in the style of Scott Carney for the New York Times discussing ice baths. And it will create a thing in my style that may or may not be accurate, but it's there and it can look really good. And you could do it in the style of Shakespeare as well. So maybe it's a little more highfalutin and more stylized. That can be done. Now, what the Authors Guild is saying is that ChatGPT and these other AI things need permission to go and look at all of those materials in order to create its copy, and that if they don't have permission, they should not be allowed to do it. Now, on one level, that seems, well, sort of legitimate. Like, I don't want my stuff stolen, but then again, it's not stuff that I have written. And think of what happens if we play this logic a little bit forward. Does this mean that an author or a singer or an actor cannot train on other people's materials because everything they do needs to be original to them? Can I not read other people's books. Like, could I not read James Nestor's Breath or John Krakauer or John Valiant or any of my sort of literary heroes? Could I not read their books, get inspired by the things that I like about it, and then write my own books without being influenced by them? I mean, I've read thousands of books in my life. Am I training on those books in the same way that AI is? Well, I think that if the Authors Guild suit goes forward, they might be saying that education is plagiarism. Because that's what they're saying that's going on with ChatGPT, right? They're saying that it cannot train on something because there is something immutable about someone's style. All right, well, that is super weird. Now, there's another protection that goes on in intellectual property, which is called parody. Now, if you saw David Guetta's clip, what he said was that he was doing this as a joke.
Made as a joke.
Which is a protected form of speech. Jonathan Swift started this whole thing. Benjamin Franklin, they all made parodies of political events and major political figures. And by using those parodies, their speech was protected under intellectual law. So let's say I created a parody by sucking data off the internet and making a parody of a very, very good quality impression of, say, Bob Marley or Clint Eastwood, and I had them saying something. Then I went and commercialized that. Is that fine, or is that not? What is it about the immutable essence of people that can be distilled, and what do we do with that distilled information? These are not settled questions in law, and I have no idea how it's going to shake out. And I do worry that no matter how we move forward from here, someone is going to be in a lot of trouble. Either authors are no longer going to be able to read other people's works and write original things themselves, or anything that we do, anything that we could create can just be immediately imitated and changed by an algorithm and an AI. I do not know how it's going to work, but I will tell you one thing, that the title of this video, what I have also learned is that AI is actually ridiculously good at creating titles. I've released a bunch of videos and books over the last year, and I went into ChatGPT and I said, make me a title for all of the different projects that I did. And look what it came up with. Every single one of those titles is at least as good as the titles that I came up with on my own. And the title of this video, well, ChatGPT came up with it too. Who really made that? Was it Scott Carney who made these things because I put in the query? Or was it the training of this AI? These issues are really going to mushroom out of control in the future, and I actually don't know where it's going to go. When will I be obsolete? In a year? In a week? In 10 years? Am I never going to be obsolete? Or do I just need to be really, really good at making search queries? All right, I don't know. Maybe you do, and I would like you to maybe drop your impressions of what the future is going to look like down in the comments, and maybe I'll do another video about it because I am so invested and curious about this. And now I'm going to let Eminem take us out.
I'm getting lost in an underground. This is the future rave sound. I'm getting lost in an underground.